All right, let's just get this over with. This is the gap between my teeth. And I know, it's huge. My name is Francesco. That's spelled Francesco. And I know, that is a bit of a mouthful, which is appropriate for someone who loves to talk with almost everyone he knows. I stand at about 6 feet and weigh almost 200 pounds, so I've always been one of the bigger kids on the block. Since I was a child, I've had a tendency to be a bit overexcited about every little thing, to the point where it could get annoying for some. I prefer to bond through video games and film, and I will happily embrace that I am a little bit of a nerd. Now, if I were standing in this exact spot a year ago, I would not feel as comfortable to show my true colors in front of such a crowd. Miraculously, it took me 8 painful years to appreciate who I am. I gained this sense of unnecessary insecurity around the 2nd grade, when I moved from a small private school to a larger public school. You see, I never knew what a clique was. My classmates and I appreciated each other for who we were, and we never cared about each other's differences. We literally held hands and sang Kumbaya. I made a handful of new friends in this new class, but I got a taste of what bullying truly felt like on my first ice cream Friday after taking the last cherry popsicle, leading to a classmate to call me a fat giant. Girls would write on the Valentines given to me that I should fix my teeth in order to get respect from them. Bus rides home consisted of popcorn and crackers thrown at my back and orders to eat all of it because I was the fat kid. I was slammed against locker room doors and laughed at for having a Pikachu backpack, scolded by the smarter students for being too freaking stupid for my constant optimism, and misdiagnosed with a mental disorder by a teacher who disliked me purely for my excitement to learn. I began to feel like I had to keep my persona quiet for everyone else's benefit. I knew that a couple people loved who I was, but in my head, they were a relatively small portion. My own mother tried her hardest to make sure I loved myself, telling me that these people would be irrelevant in the next couple years, and that they won't be the ones paying my bills. We both agreed that the space I had been in had done a toll, and maybe it was time to put myself back into a private school space, but this time for high school. I originally thought that this new experience was going to be vastly different from the years before, as I was about to meet people who have, for most of the time, also never met anyone around them. But as months passed, however, I was quickly reminded of my experiences back in elementary and middle school. Upon seeing my gap, a classmate told me that it was so big he could fit his dad's truck in there. A group I was working with on a history project told me that my contributions did not matter whatsoever, purely because I was corrupted by video games. I became very somber, and I stopped talking to as many people, because from what I knew, it was torture for me to be around. In my sophomore year, one of my greatest hopes was to make more friends, as it seemed that the only people who truly enjoyed my presence were the people from my school before. I actually was doing pretty well, as I gained a sense of being more free with myself. In January, however, I was blindsided. A friend of mine informed me that a certain group, far better socially and academically, was treating me like dirt. They claimed that I had no life purely because of my interests and called me names such as the 40-year-old virgin and mom's basement dweller. Immediately, my head rushed through a flurry of emotions, but one thing was clear. I hated myself. When I got home that day, tears rushed down my cheeks as I ran to my room and tore down everything related to my interests off my walls and shelves, everything that made me the one without a life, according to these people. I laid on my bed and told myself the same thing over and over. You are a loser. Just accept it. No one likes you. When my mom got home that day and called my name, there was no response, only weeping. She came to my room to find a blank space and a couple of white walls. Appalled at what I've done, she sat down by my bed and asked what was wrong. But the only words that could come out of my mouth were those words I had been repeating to myself over and over and over again. but she told me that I have never been any of those things in her eyes, and reminded me of how many people truly enjoyed my presence. And that response, though incredibly simple, gave me the greatest boost of morale. I came to realize that those who bully do it as an incredibly immature way to take out their own faults and insecurities on those who have as much or as little as they do. I've also come to realize that the vast majority of people at York not only tolerate my quirks and insecurities, they embrace it. The people that matter to me are the ones who never desire such a drastic change and love who I am. Sometimes in life, people will try to bring you down for who you are, but the best thing to do is to triumph over them because in the end, they're irrelevant to your success. As I look back at my childhood, I wish I never spent those 8 painful years regretting who I am and instead loving who I was. Some people will try to bring you down and make you feel like you're nothing. But you always need to tell yourself that you're going to be okay, because people do love you. Everyone should love themselves, whether you're not as tall, or you're not as smart, or you're not as social as the other people around you. To let someone change your life is a moronic decision, a decision that I wholeheartedly regret, but afterwards helped me become a very strong person.